Chosen, evil had prepared the pit for you. But look closely, he never imagined it would be him who would fall into it. He thought his victory was certain, that your downfall was inevitable, but what he didn't know is that you were made for something greater, for something he could never foresee. He dug deep, but the earth he used to bury you is now his own prison. You are no longer at his mercy. The game has changed, and now it's the enemy who is being destroyed, not you. Have you ever felt that weight on your shoulders, as if there was no way out? The pit seemed inevitable, the end was near, but you were made to endure. Evil prepared your fall, but didn't know that the very place it wanted you defeated would become the site of its own ruin. You are about to discover that what they planned to bury you with is in fact raising you. What's next? Something grand. You never imagined it, but now the truth will set you free. Chosen, you've already noticed something was wrong, haven't you? Something was moving in the shadows, trying to control your life. Evil had been watching you, waiting for the smallest flaw to bring you down. They believed your end was near, that the battle was already won, but something deeper was happening, something invisible to the enemy's eyes. While he plotted your downfall, you were already being prepared for something that would change everything. Every step evil took was an attempt to trap you, to pull you away from your true purpose. But what he didn't realize is that the chains he tried to place on you were made of lies, of illusions. They underestimated you, because even in the worst storms, you always found a way to rise again, as if something greater was always by your side, guiding you, lifting you up. What seemed like an obstacle was actually just another test to strengthen you. Now you begin to realize that there's no escape for evil anymore. What he thought was your end will, in fact, be your turning point. The strength you carry within is about to manifest in a way you can't even imagine. Divine power is ready to act, and what's about to happen will be stronger than any plan the enemy has made. This is the moment to understand what's happening behind the curtains of your life. You feel something has changed, don't you? A different energy, an invisible force beginning to break the barriers that once limited you. Evil thought it had control, but the truth is, you were never at its mercy. Something much greater, something eternal, is at work now, changing the course of things, and the turn you feel is approaching rapidly, irresistibly, as if everything is about to collide in a powerful way. But what comes next? The enemy can no longer stop what's about to happen. Soon, you will see the true face of this transformation, something that will surprise you deeply. Get ready, because what's coming will challenge everything you thought you knew about your own strength. You are about to be elevated to a new level of understanding, and the battle that seemed lost will now be won. Chosen, while evil was digging, it didn't know what it was creating. It thought it was digging its domain, a prison that would trap you forever. But what it didn't know is that the pit it imagined for your end would become the very place of its own ruin. It thought it saw you as an easy victim, but it underestimated the power you carry within, something that will turn this pit into a trap for him. The enemy's mind was obsessed with the idea of defeating you, and he didn't realize that by digging this hole, he was digging his own defeat. What seemed like an infallible strategy to destroy you now turns against him. Evil never knew that you would be the reflection of divine strength, the one that emerges in the darkest moments. He didn't know that, by trying to bury you, he was digging his own end. He may have created a pit, but now it will be the prison that holds him. The power you carry within you is about to reveal itself in a way no one expected. The pit won't destroy you. It will only be the beginning of something much greater. When evil thought you would fall, that was exactly when the power of heaven intervened. You were made to endure and overcome. What they planned as an end is now transforming into an opportunity for victory. You are about to discover how the enemy's pit will become your field of transformation. And as you look at the pit that was prepared for you, one thing is certain. It will not affect you the way evil imagined. On the contrary, it will become the starting point for your true ascension. What once seemed like an imminent threat is now the portal to your victory. The enemy was so blinded by his revenge that he didn't see his own fate being sealed. Now, the pit will be the arena where he finds his downfall. But what comes after his fall? Evil can no longer harm you, but there is something even greater approaching, something deeper, more powerful, that will shake everything around you. The true purpose of what's happening to you is still being revealed, and with every step, you're getting closer to understanding the impact this will have on your life. The next revelation will shake the foundations of what you've known until now. Chosen. Evil always thought it had control over everything. It believed that by entangling you in its webs, you would be completely lost. Every move it made seemed meticulously planned to lead you away from your true destiny. But what it didn't know is that, even in the deepest shadows, God had already paved your path. It tried to deceive you, but the truth was always by your side, even when you couldn't see it. The traps evil set for you were made of illusions, empty attempts to move you away from the truth. He forgot that your destiny isn't his to control, but belongs to a much greater power. God has always been guiding your steps, even when it seemed like there was no way out. Every attempt the enemy made to divert you, every snare, was just another chance for you to strengthen, to see clearly what's at stake. Evil tried to create a maze, trying to convince you there was no way out. But you began to realize that, even without seeing, there was always an invisible hand guiding you. Every step you took toward the unknown was, in fact, a journey of liberation. With every moment, you felt you weren't alone, that divine power was in every movement. What seemed like a snare was, in fact, an opportunity for you to discover your true strength. You begin to realize that what evil prepared for you never had power over you. It tried to deceive you with lies, but the truth, as always, set you free. The control it thought it had was an illusion, and you're already beginning to see that your freedom is more than a possibility. It is an unshakable reality. Now, more than ever, you are ready to see the true purpose behind all of this. And what comes next will surprise you even more deeply. What could evil still try now? Does it still have something in mind? Or will your true strength finally be revealed? With every step, you get closer to the answer. The game it thought it was winning is now turning against it. What comes after this is something you need to see with your own eyes, because the true transformation is just beginning. Chosen, now that you see the pit evil prepared for you, it's impossible not to notice what's truly happening. The enemy believed he had everything under control, that you would fall without a fight. But look at the pit now. What once seemed like the end is now the downfall of evil itself. He dug with his own hands his defeat, not realizing that the pit was a trap in which, in the end, he would fall. While evil prepared your end, he didn't know that his destruction would be caused by his own trap. With every move, he believed he was controlling the game, but the truth is, he was just a pawn in a battle that God had already won. The pit was not made to imprison you, it was made to show him that his own strength was nothing against divine power. And now he pays the price for his arrogance. You can feel it, can't you? The tension that evil created is already dissolving. What once seemed like a death sentence is now the key to your freedom. The enemy tried to imprison you, but he didn't know that the true prison was for him. When he tried to close the doors, it was himself he imprisoned. You are starting to understand that the pit is not the end. It is merely the reflection of evil's downfall, and that, my chosen one, is just the beginning of your victory. What he didn't imagine is that the pit he prepared to destroy you would become the stage where he would face his own downfall. And you are here to witness all of it. You, who were the target of evil, now find yourself in front of the truth of your own strength. The game has turned, and everything he thought was his triumph is now his defeat. The power that guided you to this point was not in vain. Victory is closer than you think. But what comes next? The enemy can no longer escape from his own trap, but you are about to be taken to a level you never imagined. What comes next will show you how everything you've gone through so far was just the beginning of something grand. Evil has already lost, but the greatest secret about your destiny is still to come. Are you ready to discover what God has prepared for you? Chosen, you must be starting to realize that something very big has happened. Evil, so confident in its victory, now faces something it cannot control: your transformation. They believed the battle was already won, but little did they know that the true strength in you was still to come. The game has reversed, and everything that seemed like a defeat for you now becomes the foundation for your great victory. The awakening you've experienced is only the beginning. The enemy acted, thought he had won, but never imagined that the awakening you were about to have wasn't just about you. He didn't know that divine strength was being poured into your life, and that with every step, you were becoming invincible. Now, what he prepared to destroy you with becomes your chance to show the world your true strength. He doesn't know it, but your awakening is leading him straight to his defeat. As evil retreats, you will realize that the power you carry within you has always been there. The enemy thought he was crushing you, but the truth is, you were being forged to be stronger. What seemed like a trap is now a bridge to your ascension. The game, once again, has changed, and the control he thought he had over you is now just a reflection of his own weakness. While he tries to understand what's happening, you already know what's to come. You've awakened to a strength he never imagined could exist. Evil tried to deceive you, but now it finds itself losing ground. With every second, with every step, you are stronger, closer to the revelation of what was truly at stake. This isn't just a battle for your life, it's a battle for your greatness, for your true mission. But what comes next? Evil tried to defeat you, but your ascension is just beginning. The awakening was only the beginning of something much greater. What will you do with this strength now? Prepare yourself, because what comes next will challenge you in an even deeper way. The game is about to intensify, and you haven't even seen half of what God has in store for you. Chosen, while the enemy thought he had extinguished your light, he made a fatal mistake. He underestimated your memory. Evil tried to make you forget who you truly are, tried to bury your true strength in a past of pain and frustration. But within you, something began to awaken. What he didn't know is that the power God placed in you was never lost. It was only dormant, waiting for the right moment to return with even greater force. The echo of the past is not a condemnation. It's a reminder of what you were and what you're about to become. The enemy tried to erase your memory, but what he couldn't understand is that your true strength doesn't lie in what you've been through, but in what you are still about to conquer. Every step you take now is a confirmation that the past doesn't define you. The light that ignites within you is lighting the way that evil tried to darken. Now you begin to realize that everything the enemy did to bring you down was in vain. The memories he tried to erase are coming back, clearer than ever. They are not memories of pain, but of power. They are flashes of your true nature, of that invincible strength that resides within you. Evil tried to bury this strength, but he didn't know that it was immortal. The light is returning, and with it your true essence. The enemy believed time could erase your essence, but he never imagined time would be an ally in your restoration. What once seemed lost now returns with uncontrollable force. You begin to remember who you truly are, and the light that was dimmed is now shining brighter than ever. Evil tried to erase it, but you are here to remember and rise up stronger, firmer. The victory chosen is already in your steps. But what comes next, now that you've remembered your true strength? Evil is about to discover that its attempts to erase you only serve to prepare you for the greatest challenge. What comes next will be the revelation of the impact of your awakening. Get ready, because something much greater is on its way, and you haven't even seen the greatness of what God is about to do in your life. Chosen, while the enemy believed you were at your end, you began to realize you were not alone. The pit the enemy dug to destroy you now becomes the place where divine intervention will lift you up. God, who has always been with you, never allowed you to be completely consumed by the darkness. The pit was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of your redemption. Now divine protection begins to take shape, and you feel your strength growing with every step. The enemy thought he had dominated you, but what he didn't know is that the true strength that keeps you standing doesn't come from the earth they prepared to bury you. It comes from something much greater, from a divine source that cannot be touched. The pit, which they thought was your prison, is now the place where you are reborn. Evil may try, but it will never control what God has in store for you. Divine power is surrounding you, lifting you stronger each day. You begin to realize that every attack, every attempt to bring you down, was actually used by God to strengthen you. No matter how many times the enemy tried to make you fall, you are on a path of protection and restoration. The refuge God prepared for you is not a place of escape, but a field of forces that revitalize you. Evil didn't count on this. It didn't know that its attempts to destroy you would become its own downfall. Now more than ever, you feel divine strength surrounding you. There is no more room for fear, no more doubt about your destiny. Evil can no longer touch you, and what once seemed like an end is now the ground where your true journey begins. The power of God that acts in you is more present than ever, and with every movement of yours, evil sees control slipping from its hands. You are being restored, renewed, and above all, protected. But what comes after this restoration? What can evil do now, knowing that divine strength won't let you fall? You are about to discover that the power that now sustains you will not only protect you, but take you beyond what the enemy ever imagined. The next chapter will show you what happens when evil tries to face divine strength. Are you ready to understand the impact of this divine protection in your life? Chosen, you've already felt the force of the storm trying to bring you down, haven't you? Evil thought its strength would be enough to sink you, that the pressure, pain, and fear would keep you trapped. But now you realize the storm is no longer an obstacle. On the contrary, it is the wind that will propel you higher. Evil may have thrown everything it had against you, but it was in this moment of greatest pressure that you began to realize the divine strength acting powerfully in your life. While they tried to sink you, you were being shaped for something greater. Every wave that seemed to push you down was, in fact, pushing you toward an elevation you never imagined. What once seemed like an unbearable weight now becomes the strength that propels you. The storm will not destroy you. It will carry you to a place of victory where evil cannot reach you. The enemy thought he was winning, but he didn't realize that the fight was precisely your preparation for the great victory. What you didn't know, while you were in the eye of the storm, is that every struggle brought you closer to your destiny. Evil tried to destroy you with fear and difficulties, but you were made to endure. The wind of adversity that was supposed to bring you down now becomes your strength. It is no longer a storm, but a battlefield where victory is being forged, and you're closer than ever to seeing the impact of this in your life. Now you feel the wind growing stronger, not to bring you down, but to lift you up. The storm you've been facing is the perfect moment to show your true strength. Every step toward adversity is now a step toward greatness. Evil thought you would get lost in the chaos, but now you understand that the chaos was what prepared you for what's to come. The wind of adversity propels you to a new level of power. But what will come next? You've already started to rise, but the true height you will reach is still to come. The storm now becomes a distant memory, and what comes next will be something you never imagined. The power that propels you knows no limits, and evil now doesn't know how to reach you. The next chapter will show you the true impact of this divine force that is lifting you higher and higher. Prepare yourself for the final revelation of the power you carry within. Chosen, you've already realized that the enemy no longer has control over your life. He believed he was manipulating every move you made, but now, in the face of his own downfall, he sees that God's power has always been stronger. Evil thought it could destroy you, that everything was in its hands, but it didn't know that you were merely a piece in the divine plan, and now this plan is unfolding in a way he could never imagine. What they don't understand is that God's true strength doesn't hide, it acts at the right moment. The enemy, so confident, didn't see God's intervention coming his way. What seemed like an inevitable defeat is now a turnaround of proportions you can barely comprehend. God does not allow his chosen ones to be touched without something much greater about to happen. And evil will finally see that it no longer has power over your life. The divine strength is already in motion, and what seemed like the end of your journey now transforms into the greatest beginning of your life. Evil may try to resist, may try to fight, but it no longer has control over your destiny. The Avenger has arrived, and he, who has never failed, is now about to show you what happens when he truly acts. Prepare yourself, because what you thought was impossible will now be your reality. You begin to realize it, don't you? More and more, you feel the divine presence guiding you, protecting you, and lifting you up. The enemy tried to get you off your path, but in truth, he propelled you toward your true destiny. God's power, like a strong wind, is now taking you to a place evil never imagined. He thought he was destroying you, but it was God who used him to prepare your ascension. But what comes next? Now that the Avenger has arrived, evil has no way to escape. What you are about to witness is the true divine force in action. The plan God has for your life is immeasurable, and you've barely begun to see its impact. Prepare yourself for the next step, because the transformation you're about to live will challenge all expectations. God is acting, and victory is more than guaranteed. Chosen, you've already realized that the game has turned in an irreversible way. Evil thought it had drawn its foolproof plan, but it didn't know that the pit it prepared for you would be its own prison. What it imagined as a victory now transforms into its final defeat. It dug, it planned, but it never imagined that its own trap would become the site of its ruin. And now you are here, standing strong, stronger than ever, ready to live what is rightfully yours. The enemy underestimated your strength, believing that pain and battle would break you. But you weren't made to surrender. The pit it dug to bury you now becomes the symbol of its fall. Every step you take is a reminder that nothing, not even the deepest evil, can stop the divine strength that walks with you. The end of the game for him came without warning, and you, chosen, are the living proof that the divine plan is greater than any snare. What seemed like an end now becomes the starting point for a new era in your life. Every challenge you've overcome, every tear you've shed, now transforms into fuel for your ascension. The enemy's pit is the ground where you will bloom, where you will see that nothing can stop your progress. Evil may try, but you are already protected and ready to rise up stronger, more aware, more powerful. God, with his immeasurable strength, used every attempt of evil to shape you. The pit that was meant to be your destruction is now the place of your transformation. The enemy, in its blindness, thought it was defeating you, but it didn't know that by pushing you into the pit, it was only preparing you for a new level of greatness. The power you carry cannot be touched by those who try to bring you down. Now, you stand before the final truth. The pit the enemy dug is his own prison. You are no longer a victim. You are a chosen one, a victor, and evil no longer has dominion over your life. The game is over for the enemy, but it is just beginning for you. God's plan is greater, and your victory is immeasurable. The transformation is complete, and what comes now is just the reflection of your true power. Chosen, you now know the truth. The pit the enemy prepared for you is his own prison, and your journey of overcoming and victory has only just begun. God has something much greater in store for you, and no one will stop what he has already planned. If this message touched your heart, leave in the comments, "Evil has no power over my life anymore." This is more than just a phrase. It's a declaration of victory and authority. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to not miss more powerful revelations. May your journey be marked by the divine strength that guides you until the next video chosen.